Hello all and welcome back to Space Engineers. Today we are streaming for the build event for building a new starter pod, a new space starter pod for our SE server associated with the Discord. So we had about a week for people to build up some new starter pods and bring them to this location on the server. This is on the survival server. So it's kind of an interesting event, gets people moving around and visiting different places. We're going to do this for, thanks AWOL for the sub. We're going to do this for every single location. We started with space. We're going to do, I don't know what we're going to do next. We'll decide at some point during the stream here what location we'll be building pods for next, but we're going to keep doing it once a week until we have new pods for every single location on the server. Right now we have a vanilla system, so it's going to be space, Earth, Moon, Mars, Titan, Alien, all the different places. So it's going to be going for quite a while. We have 4 entries for the space starter pod. AWOL built one. Who made this one? Snow Tiger made that one. I made this one, and then this is Nekio's, I believe. As usual, somebody did not read the instructions to make it small grid, but we're going to check out the large grid pod anyway, because why not? And any pods, we're going to have voting on the Discord for anyone who has the crew role to vote for which pod they want to be the new space starter pod. And the ones that don't get voted in, I might add them to a mod to make them NPCs flying around so you can still encounter them. You just won't be able to start in them yourselves. So they might still get used, of course, with permission of the people that designed them. So it's a tentative idea, but I think it would be cool to do. I'm going to take a look at mine first because some more people might be showing up. AWOL, I believe, is here. AWOL, are you in the channel?
I'm in the channel.
Nice. So we'll have AWOL kind of show us around his, but I'm going to show everyone around mine first and kind of give the idea behind it. And then if other people show up, we'll have them show us around theirs. Otherwise, I'll just take a look at them and we'll see what they're all about. For my design, it is small grid, of course, and it is very similar to what you would see in a moon or an earth pod, for example. It has a lot of the same kind of blocks. I did decide to give it a little bit more functionality than you would normally see on a starter pod, because I think that's not really the worst thing. I don't know. I wanted to have a more unique start for a server. So even if this doesn't get chosen for our server, I'm going to add this to a mod pack for a server in the future potentially, or just for other people to use at some point. But I give it a little bit more functionality. We start with the drill. We start with some solar panels so that you don't have to worry about power on at least your initial starter grid. Of course, if you're going to go for a bit large grid right away, you're going to need a lot more than this. Small grids don't really power large grids well in any way, shape, or form. But starting with the drill will be nice. I do have you starting with a large battery, which is standard fare for starter pods. The large battery's down here. And you have an antenna, a beacon, same as normal. You got an ore detector, which I believe the starter pods always start with ore detectors, the small grid ones. I don't think you ever use them, but I think in the space case you actually would. And because our server is running the radio spectrometry mod, I actually decided to hook that up and just set it up so that if you're aiming at an asteroid with this, you can see what types of ores are on that asteroid, just looking through the camera here. See if it actually works. And maybe that asteroid's a little far, or I'm not aiming perfectly at it. But that should work, and it's a neat little thing to start with. We got a spinning antenna that's just cosmetic antenna. And I did add a medium cargo container. I figured going with the drill, that would be a nice thing to have to get you started a little bit quicker. And I have a hydrogen engine and a hydrogen tank on here if you want to refuel. That way you can recharge if you're not charging off of solar. It gives you a little bit of power that you can use to, I don't know, run a large grid or something. It was just an idea. I don't actually think that that's necessary for this ship design. It just fit in there nicely, so I added it. And we're not going to worry too much about what comes in the cargoes. We'll figure out exactly what to add to the cargoes once we pick a ship for our main actual grid, once we pick a winner. So that is pretty much everything of mine. I'm just going to look around the outside. You do have a survival kit, of course, with access to the outside. This is the way you're going to access the cargo, and this will let you put large things into the cargo container, the O2H2, and into the survival kit, so I can pull my tanks in and out of this location so I can recharge them. So that is an option. It's a little bit hidden, but it is doable. We got some blinky lights for some flavor, and that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else to really go over on this one. It's a starter pod, so they're pretty basic. I suppose I can flip in and just look through some of the blocks, see what's actually on there. It does have the equivalent of 4 small grid solar panels. These half panels output half as much as a full one, so that adds up. It is just ion thrusters, just small ones, and I can fly it around a little bit. It is really lethargic, even with nothing in it, but I think that's fitting for this industrial feel for a starter pod. You're going to want to upgrade it right away, pretty much, which is the goal. When you spawn in with these vehicles, you spawn in about 1 kilometer away from an asteroid pointing at an asteroid, so I figure you're probably just going to fly straight to that asteroid and start using the drill right away, so it's not the worst thing if it's slow. Yeah, that's that. Pretty straightforward. AWOL, you want to give us a little tour of yours?
Sure.
I like how the outside looks. It looks like a little mini shuttle. I also like that we all decided to use the new cockpit. It's pretty cool. It would definitely be nice to get a starter pod with the new cockpit right away.
Well, my initial idea I wanted an interior, but not to make it big.
Yeah.
So I designed around the interior, which as you can see is everything a budding space engineer needs to start living.
Yeah.
Got your coffee
really
maker,
like
fridge, a bed, and your microwave. What else do you need?
Yeah. I'm gonna close the door here and show them the face. So this button pressurizes and depressurizes the interior.
Yes, but it was on before, so if you just turned it off, you may need to turn it back on.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I gotta push the button again. There we go. So when you have pressure, you can see on my suit, it's pressurizing. The face turns to happy, which I really like.
And it's visible from the bed. So if you want to
Yep.
get in the bed.
It's visible from the bed. It's also visible through the window from the outside, so you can see if the interior is pressurized, which is nice. This is like a little bench here almost, and you can get in the cockpit from the inside too, which is cool. You can get in the cockpit from the inside and the outside, which is super useful when you're starting out. A lot of times you jump in and out of the cockpit a lot. And there's a little cargo container here, which I just noticed.
Yep, but that's not piped up to anything. It's just there
Okay,
for storage or whatever.
Yep, you can put some guns in there or something. Decorative storage. And you have a music player.
Yes.
That's what this looks like.
If you're traveling along the stars, you may want some entertainment.
I like that a lot. Oh, I didn't depressurize it. My bad. You can also, if you leave the door open, I like that you can use the survival kit from outside. You don't have to go inside if you don't want to.
Yeah, sure. I did that on purpose.
Yep. A lot of times I want to get to those types of things without going inside, but I suppose you can access the cockpit too, so recharging power is not a big deal. It's just recharging health. And you have the bed in there, so you can sleep in your respawn pod, which is kind of cool.
Correct, yeah. You will not die in this as long as you have power and some ice.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. See your hot bar. Got a bunch of different things. Do you have what do you have for cargo on this?
I have one medium cargo here in the back. And
Cool.
it's piped up to the
survival kit?
O2 generator.
Oh, to the
and then
O2.
an oxygen tank, and then the survival kit. I think that's how they're piped up in order.
Yeah, so it does work for putting your... Yep, so I can access the oxygen bottles and whatnot through the back then. That's
correct.
Good.
Only through the back. You won't be able to go through the forward part.
Yep, that's kind of how mine is too. You can only access that through the container.
And there's 2 large batteries for this, one in the front and the back. The one you can see as like the bench on the side, and then there's one in the back just to give it some more power before you need to build a solar panel or whatever.
Yeah, that is a good idea. A lot of people have been complaining on the previous server that was vanilla. We had a small grid starter pod in space, and they're like, I'm always out of power. So having 2 large batteries might be kind of nice for those people specifically.
If you turn everything off, you get 3 days. If you turn off the O2 generator, you get more than a day of power, so you should be good.
And
Unless
all
you
of these
decide to
builds,
spawn and then stop playing for a week or so.
yeah, and at that point you might as well just spawn in a new ship too. If you haven't played long enough to build some solar panels, you might as well just start a new ship at that point. But all of the ships have beacons on them to start too, because our server does clean up things without beacons. That's something I checked beforehand, and all of these do have beacons, which is good. So the starter pods won't get deleted on a restart, even if you're just starting out and haven't built anything on it yet. I think that's a good addition for our server specifically. And you have a forwards facing, what is it called? Ore detector as well. So
Correct. So it could use that same script.
yeah, if people want to use it, they could set it up on the cockpit thing. You could probably go to, instead of doing artificial horizon, you could just scroll down and pick that. And then you can kind of just aim at an asteroid and look down. This is how I actually have been doing it for my scout ship for the server. I've been using the same cockpit and it works just fine, which is pretty cool. We'll leave that tweaked for now. Let's look at what other blocks are on here. You've got some headlights, which is nice for seeing dark asteroids. I almost forgot to add a spotlight to mine, but I do think that that's pretty useful in space. Oh, you have an oxygen tank too. I don't have an oxygen tank on mine. That's pretty cool. That's going to be useful for yours because you have an interior and you're actually going to be sleeping in there.
Yeah, that's why there's an oxygen tank on it.
Mm-hmm. You actually snuck a lot of stuff into a very small ship, and you have a little interior, which is cool. Yeah, I like this.
I have no idea how I managed this, to be honest with you.
Yep. This is a really good starter pod for starter pods with interiors. I definitely think that one's pretty top notch for that.
And for people who know certain blocks, there's ways to expand it to make it base worthy or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. I like that the back is easily expandable for like adding more cargo containers and different things like that.
Yeah.
Mine is kind of, you'll have to remove the O2H2 and then you can add more cargo or whatever you want easily, but yeah, it's definitely something worth thinking about for that type of stuff. Nice. All right, I'm gonna fly it around a little bit. I actually haven't, I'm gonna jump in from the outside. I haven't flown it around at all yet.
It's like yours, it's a little sluggish, but it'll get you around.
It feels very similar to the other one. It feels like a starter pod, which is good. And when you're starting in space, like we talked about before, it doesn't really matter. Once you get up to speed, you can kind of just glide wherever you're going. So I like that. Once again, using the clean armor, which I appreciate more and more nowadays. Man, it does look slick. Just being able to get all the shapes without the textures is the smooth corners and whatnot. I've been using it a little bit more on my ships, like down here. He's down the wings here. Oh, I'm working it in, slowly working it in, and the more I use it, the more I like it, so turns out nice. See some of the pipes over there. I like that.
Yep, that's why I needed to pipe up the cockpit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta go around the side to get that interior space that you need. Alright, let's take a look at snow tigers. I haven't looked at this one at all yet. They do have a camera facing down, which I just noticed, which is probably for hooking up easily with the connector. Same cockpit we used. The cockpit, I like the antenna on the front. I think that looks cool, but I think that'd probably be the first thing I moved so that I could put a drill on the front. But there's nothing wrong with that. This also has a beacon in addition to its cockpit, or its antenna. And honestly, I'd probably get rid of the antenna right away on a starter pod anyway and turn the beacon on because it uses less power. but it looks like a converted moon or earth pod. I actually don't know. I'd have to tear it apart to see the inside. But it has a very similar setup to that kind of thing. I'm guessing they have a conveyor junction right in the middle, and that's how they're able to attach all these things to the side and to the bottom. This bottom one actually, can I even pass stuff into the cargo from here? Connector, I don't think I can actually put stuff in the cargo container from here. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no 90-degree large connector version in this, so it is all separately loadable, so you can access it all from the outside, but you can't push stuff between like the connector and the cargo, which is fine. It's a starter pod. The connector is just there for you to hook up to things, I guess. And they do have some mag plates for grabbing onto things and lifting. Do you have mag plates on yours? Oh yeah, you do.
I do.
Nice. Yeah, that's a nice little addition to be able to lock yourself to something when you're in space. I have one on mine, right in the middle and the bottom. Looks like everyone has those, so that's good. This one has lots of lights, lots of surround lights, which is good. What other blocks do we have in here? Oh, they have two batteries as well. Dang, I'm the only one without 2 batteries. I didn't even notice that until I pulled open the menu. Bunch of ion thrusters, the mag plates, a medium cargo. 1 medium cargo, it looks like. 1 O2H2, which you can access from the outside. I'm guessing that's the one on the back. Oh no, that's on the left side. So that's fine. So here's my next question. Can I put stuff into the... into the survival kit from the cockpit? Doesn't look like that. Doesn't look like I can. Wait, I have this new tool. I'm gonna use that. I don't want the measure tool. I want this one. Oh, I can't use conveyor vision on an unfriendly ship. Dang it. Oh, even with add mode stuff on, I can't look at it. Well, either way, you can manually load the survival kit. The survival kit's... looking straight down. There isn't a remote control or anything hooked up. It doesn't look like. Yeah, there isn't a remote control set up for easy docking or anything, but that wouldn't be hard to add. And you do at least have the camera to line yourself up to dock to things. And it maneuvers very similar to the other vehicles. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit... I actually don't know if it's lighter than mine because it has 2 batteries. Probably a similar weight to mine, maybe a little bit lighter. It moves forwards faster, but forwards and up and down it looks like it's going to move pretty quick for ion thrusters. But a nice little starter pod. I think we've seen all the blocks on it. I really want to tear this one apart and just see how the conveyor system works inside it. We'll see. I might have to ask for a blueprint of that and take it into creative. The last one, let's move the sun around a little bit. The sun is in a weird spot right now. There we go. A little bit better. The last one is Nekio's submission. And I seem to have lost my welder. Oh, I actually legitimate think I threw my welder in one of the containers. Shoot, where'd my welder go? There it is. It's on the bottom. There we go. I just wanted to triple check this. Yes, it was built by Nekio. And they have a little explanation here that I'll just go ahead and read. Meant to be a less claustrophobic version of the original Respawn space pod. It has the same capabilities, but an easier design to upgrade without having to heavily alter the appearance of the ship. It does not utilize any DLC blocks, so as to allow players freedom to upgrade, repair, and redesign as needed without worrying about what DLCs they have, which is nice. I think that's a good idea. The back looks very similar to the standard Respawn pod, so I wonder if they just cut the nose off and then made a larger interior directly attached to the back. I'm not entirely certain, but we're going to go inside and check it out. Flip my lights on. Actually, turn the lights off and just see how it looks without the lights. They do have proper lighting in here, so you don't need your headlights on. Got the beacon there in the floor, cargo container. Let's look what else they have in here. Ion thrusters, of course. O2H2 oxygen tank. Survival kit. Really basic stuff. Couple batteries. Make sure we're seeing everything. Yeah, we are. Yeah, very similar to the normal one. And it does have an airlock, so it has the double door for an airlock, which the normal pod does not have. Survival kit. And I can access all the different tanks and O2H2s and whatnot from this cargo container, which is nice. And then we've got lots of room up here if you wanted to add beds. You could add beds in right there, a bathroom, whatever you want, really. Even adding some pipes and some more storage wouldn't be terribly difficult with this design. Would probably remove that top thruster and put a drill right on the top first thing. That's always what I think of when I look at Respawn pods, is how would I attach a drill to it right away? Which is why I just added a drill to my Respawn pod, because it's always the first thing I do. So yeah, I'd remove this thruster probably, and I'd put a drill right on the front. And that would work just fine. This one actually moves a little bit better than I think the default pod does, because I think it's a little lighter because it doesn't have those extra blocks. Not bad at all. They used the clean armor as well, which is kind of cool. Anything else I'm missing on this one? Doesn't look like it. What is this on the menu? Additional system power? I'm guessing that's what that abbreviation means. Maybe that's for the batteries or the hydrogen engine. Let's look up that group. Oh, I see what it is. This is the blocks that when you're parking, if you want your power to last longer, you want to turn these off. The O2H2s, the gyros, the beacon, that's the type of stuff you want to turn off. That's just going to drain power doing nothing. So that's nice to have on the hotbar, actually. I would probably do that or recommend that for any of our ships. Whichever one wins, probably have a power down button on the hotbar. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But yep, that's pretty much the 4 options. We'll have a vote on Discord where you can vote for which one you think is your favorite, and probably I'll run that poll for a week, and then next week when we're doing when I'm looking at the ships for the next event, I'll announce who the winner was from this event, and then we will have, probably sometime that weekend, I will slap together the mod. These ones are really easy to put together, the Respawn ship mods. So I'll slap together the mod, and then starting next week, we'll have the new Respawn pods. Hey, flares. So, AWOL.
Yes.
What would you recommend changes for these ships? How do you feel about starting with solar panels and a drill? That's my main question. Do you think it's too much, or do you think it's like an acceptable start?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I'm a bit torn about it myself.
Part of me wants to say it's acceptable because, well, frankly, not really hard to start making in space,
Hmm.
adding to it, really. Like, yes, like, yeah, I have to make it, but we're talking what?
A couple blocks and then some solar panels. It's
Maybe
not hard.
maybe 30 minutes worth of work of
Right.
hand drilling,
Yep.
maybe, and probably not even
I
that
think
because the
probably
small grid
15.
drills aren't as expensive as the large grid
I
drills.
think probably within spawning, you in 15 minutes you could have the solar. Well, yeah, okay, maybe 20 minutes. You could have the solar panels and the drill added on to a ship. Like if we spawned in with your ship, I think within 20 minutes I would have solar panels and a drill on it.
Correct. The very first thing I would do with my ship is add a solar panel.
Yeah, I would probably
Then
go for the
then the
drill.
drill.
Yeah, I'd probably take this front couple blocks off. The thing is, your thruster. I guess I'd. Is your thruster in the way?
No, if you build it horizontal, you have to build a block out. You have to build a conveyor.
Will it burn though?
It shouldn't.
I don't think it will because I think
It
the
shouldn't
hitbox
if
is
you
small enough.
yes if you build it the horizontal.
Yeah, the same way mine is. Even if it does, you could just make a little zigzag and you could bring the conveyor up one and then put the drill there. So this would be
Actually, I
really
don't think
easy
it
to
would.
add. Because, yeah, you can put a half block. You can put a block that looks like this here and it won't burn. So my thinking is that it probably wouldn't burn a drill. That would have to be tested, but it wouldn't be hard to add a drill to the front of this design and some solar panels. And I'd probably add the solar panels right above the wings or something. But yeah, that was just something, I don't know, I wasn't going to do it, but then I thought, what would be different, you know? Like, how could I make it feel a little more unique?
Doesn't look like it's gonna damage the drill, the thruster. Oh, maybe towards that end.
Actually, we can tell the plume. I think the plume does overlap the hitbox a little bit.
Yeah, maybe at
It might
the
damage
drill
it.
head part.
That's all right. Again, you could just move it up one block and it wouldn't really obscure your view too much from inside. It would feel just fine. And it's not much harder to do than to put it like this. I think for this one, I'm pretty sure there's a conveyor thing in the middle, right? Yeah, there definitely is.
Right in the middle of the cockpit.
I would probably... trying to see what's inside here, why it's not connected. I'm sure there's a reason this is all going on the way that it is. I just can't quite tell from outside. I would probably make it so that the cockpit... Maybe it is. Let me just try this again. I should be able to pass a welder from the cockpit into the survival kit, right? But it says I can't.
All depends on how that conveyor junction in the middle is.
Yeah, it looks like it's a big opening to the top. Oh, wait, is this? Yeah. Oh, I see what it is. Because the ports on the side towards the cockpit are vertical. They're in a vertical stack, so they're not actually connecting to the cockpit. That's what the problem is.
Ah, okay.
If you spun it...
But then I bet you can't connect because the small grid junction is wonky, like three sides.
Right. I think if you spun it, it would work, honestly. I really do. Spun it like 90 degrees counterclockwise, looking at it from this direction.
The small grid version is four large ones on the round, and then the small conveyors, like as you said, vertically.
Right. I think what it is it's currently placed like this, and if you just turned it like that, it would attach the cockpit to the back. And I think that was probably the intention, but it might have just been placed wrong. Because I think it's just spun a little bit. It's hard to tell without taking it apart.
It just needs to be spun 90.
Mm-hmm. And then that would allow that to attach directly to the cargo container, and small things such as ores and ingots could pass directly from the front into the survival kit, which would be good. for mining purposes. Yeah. You still wouldn't be able to pass the larger survival kit stuff through to the cargo container after it's produced. But that's okay, because probably anything you're producing you want to pull out right away and build. If you're using Build Planner, you're just going to be pulling it out directly and building with it.
Okay, his O2 generator, O2H2 generator is not hooked up to anything either.
Yeah, it should be able to be, because they have this extra... They have the conveyor junction here. Oh, and the conveyor junction should hook it up to...
I'm not sure why
the cargo container.
Unable to pass through.
Maybe stuff is just like powered down. maybe it is spun correctly and I'm just doing it wrong. Or maybe because we are enemies, we can't push stuff through. Even though I have admin stuff on. Just put that back. No one saw that. Yeah, I want to... Wait, I'm just going to do... I'm sorry. I need to see. Yep, I need to see what's going on inside here. Okay, so like this should be working just fine. And if I'd remove that... Oh no, it is spun correctly.
Oh, so it's just us.
This should be working, it's just not working for us for some reason right now.
Well, paste it again and take it over.
Point. I never... Oh yeah, everything's hooked up perfectly. Once I took it over, I can move stuff.
Okay, so it was just we didn't have...
Yeah, it's because we didn't own it. We could access the control panel with admin tools, but we couldn't pass stuff through it as if we had owned it. So everything is set up nicely with that one. I take back what I said earlier. It is just us having problems, not the build having problems. Which is good to know. That is all hooked up in the... as much as it can be hooked up. It's all hooked up, so... Good. Yeah, this is probably what I would do for yours. I'm just gonna fly back and forwards a little bit and see if that thruster damages the drill.
You're inside of safe zone. I'm not sure if that will work.
Oh shoot, yeah, damage is off in here, never mind. Oh, I forgot that we were in the safe zone now that's invisible. Well, I didn't see a dust plume, and you would at least see that if the thruster was hitting it, so it looks like it's probably okay, actually.
I didn't test it, but I think it would be okay.
So, I think your build is actually my favorite out of these ones for starting on our server, because I really did want to do a build with an interior as well. I didn't have the enthusiasm to spend hours making it work, so I went with the easy way out, just building a tube, a functional tube, and throwing some stuff on the sides.
Yeah, I'm biased. I actually do like mine that I actually made a copy for myself and updated it.
Yeah, the fact that you built two of them, one for you to just use on the server, is evidence that it's not a bad design. It's something you might want to keep around and just have. It's cool, honestly. I always liked interiors on my small grids.
Yeah, and the new interior blocks make it so much nicer.
Mm-hmm. I have not used any of them yet, any of the new little things. I am planning on using them for one of the future designs. I think that would be cool.
I will admit I do like what Snow Tiger created. As you said, now that you mentioned it, it looks like it's a modified vanilla pod that's just been updated to be, space worthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it fits really well with the other vanilla pods for sure. I think it has a place in its own mod just replacing the big hunky disaster that I look at this, but just because it's large grid, not talking about that, but the large grid vanilla pod is a big
It is
bit of a mess. It's not comparable to the other pods, the other small grid starter pods, so I think this would be a good replacement just for that. It's very fitting. And I think I'm going to continue with for the rest of these challenges, the rest of these things, I'm going to keep up a very similar look to this one. And I think when I'm done, I'll probably have I'll put together a mod pack with mine regardless, but they might not, well, they won't all be used, that's for sure, on this server. But I think having a bunch that look the same, and I'm looking forward to designing more that look kind of like this, have the industrial look, and I'll probably have solar panels and different small subgrids on a lot of them, because I think that'd be a cool thing just to have on a starter pod. Maybe not the greatest idea, but I think it'll be interesting, and that's what I'm going for. Hey,
something you said before, like maybe making an MES mod with the other ones that aren't the spawn pods. So that I think what you should do, or get us to do it, is have us create 2 or 3 versions of them growing, and then we can create like just a Space Engineers MES mod, like that's just other players per se flying around upgrading their pods, and you get to see them, but you get to see them as they get upgraded to be grown.
That would be cool.
Like
actually.
mine with the drill on the pod, and maybe a connector and big solar panels coming out the side.
I do really
whatever
like that
Snow
idea.
Tiger does to like how he would plan to expand it.
I could easily do that too. We could have multiple versions of the ships, and then when they spawn, I could either have them spawn in just as a different version. That'd be the easy way to do it. But I also could have them swap themselves for larger versions. I would probably just have them spawn in as the different versions. So when you see one and you fly up to it, it might be slightly different, with whatever upgrades seem reasonable to somebody. I think that'd be cool. That would add more variety to it.
Yeah, and I think it'll just make the space a little bit, livelier. Seeing, is that a spawn pod or NPC spawn pod?
Yeah, they should look exactly the same. Yeah, have the same beacon names and everything. So they say minnow spawn ship or whatever. That'd be cool. Yeah, I like that. So what should we do next? We're the only people here, so I guess we get to pick what planet we do next. I was thinking Earth because it's the next most common spawn location, I feel like, on our server. Actually, I think it's the most common spawn location on our server. But I figured we'd do space first because it's universal. Kind of can show up anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Earth Lake will definitely be a good choice.
I think we should add some extra rules to this one, though. Maybe go for a theme, like say it has to be a rover, small grade rover of some sort, or something like that.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, because then for different planets, we could say, okay, all the entries for this one have to be drop pods, like no wheels, no thrusters, it just drops and it's completely stationary. And that would make the starts on all the different planets very different. Because, starting with no mobility whatsoever would be way harder, even though you could just mine some rock and build thrusters. But it would have a very different feel everywhere you spawned, for sure, which is a good thing. I think for Earth, having a little bit more mobility is good because it's kind of our easy starter location on the server because it's non-PvP and there's not a whole lot really that spawns on the surface. So,
and thrusters do make it kind of, I think, a little easier, at least for me, because I'll just fly to the next ice lake.
Yeah, exactly. Like the normal starter pod, I just turn the thrusters on. I don't even land. I just turn the thrusters on while I'm dropping, and I glide over to an ice lake, and that's where I park right on the edge of an ice lake every single time with that pod.
Same.
Yeah.
I actually do land because most of my first time is actually scouting around while I'm floating down.
Oh yeah, just looking around a bit.
Yeah, then I land, turn them on, and go off in the direction. So
Yeah,
I'll
it's not a bad
actually,
idea. But I think starting with like a rover where you just don't have thrusters, so you have to drive
yeah,
around, is I think that would be cool for Earth. I think that would be cool for Pertam. Pertam is my favorite place to drive. So I definitely want to do some sort of driving vehicle when we do the Pertam starter pods. But I actually think on some of the planets it would be interesting to spawn in on the planet with a ship that can just fly. Like super minimal, but something that you don't even really have to land in. You just spawn in and you're in a small ship that can fly. That would be such a different start than you ever have in Space Engineers. I would do it on something like Triton,
I was gonna
where
say Triton or Europa, maybe a good one to have that.
yeah, one of those two, because everything's ice, so it really doesn't matter where you land. So flying around isn't really a massive advantage. It's just like you can pick a scenic spot to land. Everything's ice, so I suppose I've never done a Triton start. The mountains, if you go under the ice, it is rock, right?
Well, on one of them, yes. There's one of them. It's all ice.
Yeah, I think
I
Europa
can't
is
remember which
solid
one of the
ice.
two it is.
I think Europa is solid ice. I could be wrong about that though. I haven't done starts on either of those ever in my entire life of playing SE. I've never done a start on either of those locations. But it's pretty much always been Earth, Pertam, Mars, or space.
It's Earth or space for me. I don't think I've ever started in another planet.
Yeah, I've only started on other planets when I was doing playthroughs with other people, and they really wanted to. It was one of those planets were new, so they're like, "Hey, let's check out. Let's try and do a start here." The Mars one was, well, that was a playthrough. That was escaping Mars, so that wasn't exactly a vanilla start, but I'm counting it.
Well, have you seen the mod for that Gig makes real textures for Mars?
I have not. No,
Yeah, someone pulled the NASA's textures of height map of Mars and
that's cool.
remapped it, and it looks really really good to the point where I think I just want one big giant Mars and one planet in an asteroid field, and that's all you have
That'd be neat.
a quick just to see Mars as Mars really is.
That'd be a fun like 1 month server. Just go and explore and check the place out.
Because Mars apparently has a big giant canyon that like bigger than most of the continents in the United States or continents on Earth. So
Yeah, it would be cool to see, for sure. Flying around on a scale Mars though at 100 meters per second, I don't know how I feel about that.
yeah,
You'd have to have a speed mod as well on that.
yeah. Well, and yeah, it depends on how big of a scale. Like I don't think 1-to-1's gonna work. But
Yeah, that would be way too huge, I think. Way too huge for SE. But it would be interesting, for sure. All right, so next week's is going to be Earth Starter Pod. I vote Rover. Are you supporting this?
Rover, no thrusters at all.
Rover with no thrusters on it at all. I like that idea. Any other constraints, ideas that you have?
Not really. I think everyone here pretty much grasped the concept of not adding way too much to make this the cheat start of grinding down your ship to start building a full refinery base with everything you need type of thing. So
yeah, I definitely was the one furthest down the tech tree with just having a drill and some solar panels. I figure it's just skipping the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes for me. But yeah, everyone else did pretty good, just straight up. It's a starter pod. Don't get too advanced. I didn't see any reactors or anything like that on any of the ships, which is good. We do have ion thrusters, of course, because it's space. There's not really... I don't think having a hydrogen-based starter pod is a good idea, honestly, for space.
Same, and the small grid thrusters aren't really giving you a lot. It's just one thruster
Right,
component
exactly.
per.
Yeah, even the large ones are not giving you that many thrusters, so... Yeah, it's 12. not a big deal. I suppose you could grind one of these down and build another really tiny ship with it, but it's not going to help you too much. You're probably going to be going to large grid right away anyway, and you don't have nearly enough blocks to make even one thruster that's large grid.
I think the biggest benefit you get is you grind down the thruster, add a small one, then you have enough left over for the large steel tubes to make your drill.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point,
that's
actually.
the trade-off. Like, you're now getting rid of stopping power or going power, whichever one you replace.
Yeah, you just need tubes. I didn't actually think about that. In order to build the drill, you need to make big tubes, and big tubes can't be made in you need a assembler, right? Like a small assembler, the basic. Assembler. Right. So having a drill is actually a little ways down the tech tree.
You're right.
It's a little ways down the tech tree, but assuming you can salvage tubes out of a couple thrusters on any one of these grids, you can still build the drill without having to build the assembler, because all of the ion thrusters have one tube in them. I think all of these grids have enough spare thrusters that you could scrap and rebuild. Yeah, it's actually probably what I'd do with yours is I'd take the big thruster off the front. That would keep it from hurting the drill in the case that it might hurt the drill, and then I'd put the drill on front and put probably 2 small thrusters back. Or 1.
Yeah.
Because I'd have that one tube.
Only one at Shadow Cats, you may be get rid of some vector of thrust to get enough tubes.
Yep, but that's the trade-off. That's what you should have. Mine has a little bit less thrust than some of them to begin with, but it has the drill already on it, and yeah. All right, well, that is basically it for showcasing this stuff. I'm probably going to stick around on the server and just hang out. I haven't played SE in forever, so I had family over.
You should show people this wonderful block that I had to look and see what it was.
Which
counterweight to your antenna or the pointer or whatever you want to call that, but
the beautiful little neon tube ground down.
Correct. Like, that is something I've never seen, but I was like, how did they do that? And it's like, that's backwards.
Yep. It's the end neon tube when it's ground down. It has this cool, like, receiver kind of thing. Actually, it looks like the front of an antenna, right? So if you built a custom antenna dish, this would be a perfect little, like, sensor to go in the middle of a dish. But yeah, I was experimenting with grinding blocks down partially on this build, and I saw that one and I'm like, I'm gonna use it. I actually think I kind of prefer the way it looks as an actual tube, but because that's such a unique shape, I wanted to showcase that.
Yeah, well, that's why I brought it up, so you could showcase it.
It's I'm glad you did.
Because I saw it and I was like, wait, no, that antenna, that's on the opposite side of the antenna. Like, what is that?
Yep. It's a little bit weird, but it's pretty cool.
It works. It adds to the whole design of your antenna.
And you could flip it around, too, and then attach it the other way, and it would kind of look like
even better, like another small little...
A mini antenna that direction, yeah.
Yeah.
This is like a little sensor thing, and then flip it around, and it looks like a little antenna, which is pretty cool. Yep, I'm trying to, once I saw the new burners that Bloodkiss was using with the rotating light ground down, I started experimenting. Every time there's a new block, I look at its ground states.
Yeah, I don't
to see what they are. There's some really cool ones, and that's one of the ones I liked, so pretty useful. All right, I'm going to change the safe zone back to the dizzying version so people can see it again. What was it? This? Something like that. Close enough.
Well, if you don't mind, I plan on leaving mine here, and I'll just make it available to all.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And stop by and check it out.
Yep, if you want to leave I'll probably leave my pod here too. This location is a open spawn, so if someone joins the server and wants to use one of these ships as their starter pod, I guess they can. That's totally an option.
let us on Discord know if you did, so I can like maybe print up another one and replace it for the next person.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Wouldn't be bad to have people just drop ships that they want to let people start out with here. It's kind of a cool idea. Zone. I also need to turn off all of that stuff. I'm allowing convert to station and landing gear lock so that people can lock things here. We shouldn't have any issue with power. These things might run out of power.
I just turned mine off, but it is set to share with everyone. So if someone really wants to come and steal it, you just need to turn it on by hitting Y.
Yep. That should be good. I'm gonna see if I can dock mine too, and then I'll just do the same. Well, actually, I'll probably just turn off a bunch of blocks because mine has solar panels. It should recharge itself. And the other people that drop ships off here, they're welcome to leave theirs here and set them to share all if they want, or to take them home with them. It's totally up to you. No requirements either way. I guess I can't really set it to owned by nobody, but I can just share with all. Which should work just fine. If you do take one of the ships and you want us to transfer the blocks to you so that you can set them to not share with all, just let us know. I'm happy to do that at any point when I'm online. So that's not a problem. I actually should be able to do it now with the new system when I'm all. Like, you don't need both people to be online anymore. You should be able to transfer the ship. I think it's called starter pod. Yeah, wherever it is. I'll have to rename it. It probably isn't renamed. There we go. Now I can transfer it to whoever takes it. And we'll dock this one back up. This one, I do think the battery was just set to recharge on this one, so it's not going to use any power. And that should work just fine.
It was dead. I came on early and I recharged it for you.
Yep, that's good.
Or for him, just so you could see it.
Yeah, it was good, thanks. I'm actually going to just set my ship's battery to recharge. That'll have it save power. Because we don't have to worry about our ships being out of power on the server. They just have to have beacons and they won't get cleaned up. Nice. What were the upgrades you did to this one? You added the connector.
It's the connector in the back.
Oh yeah, the connector and then the reactor stuff. The little reactors for charging. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm assuming one's inside. Yep, they're both right here. Nice. I like it. You need to sneak that jump drive into this now.
I don't know where.
Yeah,
that's a pretty large block, even on small grid.
I think you could. Yeah.
I gotta make it longer. I can squeeze it in between something.
Maybe you could move this bottom thruster back a couple blocks and then stick it in front of the bottom thruster.
Yeah, that actually may work.
That's probably the best place to put it. It would bump out the bottom a little bit, but you could probably integrate that in some way.
It won't bump out enough, I don't think, as long as I'm not trying to cover it with armor. I would probably leave it exposed.
Yeah. I don't actually remember what that looked like.
I know it's just pretty big.
This is what it looks like. Yeah, it is pretty big. I'd probably put it on like this or something.
But I think you're right. pull the thruster, pull it back, and put it in.
Yeah, I think it would fit
it.
basically right here where the thruster used to be. And then the thruster would be right here behind it. And I think it would look just fine. It would only come down as far as your little beam thing. You'd probably have to scoot that forwards.
Yeah, I would have to remove
one block
the beam.
Or something. Yeah, I think you could scoot the beams forwards one block, put the jump drive in, and then move the thruster back. And then you'd have this tiny little ship that has a jump drive on it. I don't know if you'd have enough battery power to charge the jump drive.
I would not have enough battery power.
You have 2 batteries.
No, maybe, it's not enough battery power.
You'd probably have to replace the batteries with Prototech batteries or something, and then maybe...
You need even more Prototech batteries.
Really?
So, yes.
How much does the jump drive draw? How much power? Doesn't say. Power to recharge 24 megawatts?
But it needs 1.5 megawatts. Actually, so yeah, I could charge it once and have half a battery left.
Oh, you're just saying like capacity-wise you wouldn't... Okay.
Yeah,
I was just thinking,
you could charge it once and you have half a battery before you need to figure out
the power that it takes during charging is 24 megawatts, which is 6 of your batteries, and you only have 2.
Yeah, I don't even know
replacing them with the Prototech versions, taking up the same amount of space, you probably wouldn't have enough. Crazy. Yeah, so there would have to be more changes than just slapping the jump drive on. Maybe that won't work. Though you could actually sneak Prototech batteries into your wings and then panel your wings.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There is enough room for 2 Prototech batteries nestled into your wings. Well, 1 on each side, maybe. Actually,
maybe I'll only get 2 on each side. I don't remember what's underneath this part.
Right, this layer. If there's nothing under this layer in between there, you could do 2. And then you might actually have enough, because Prototech batteries have pretty good out. Actually, they're less than a regular battery, but
I'm not sure their capacity.
It would be interesting.
I know they output faster.
It would be interesting to take this into creative mode and to try and upgrade it to a version with a jump drive, because that would be sick. A tiny little shuttle with an interior and a jump drive would be pretty cool. I don't know where this ship was. I think it was just floating. I don't think it was parked.
Yeah, it was just in the bubble.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave it where it is then. It's kind of out of the way. I made a bunch of little data pads in case we had more people online and people wanted to vote right now. So people could write their vote into the data pad and then drop it in the box, but I'm just going to put those away for now. I need to get some screenshots of these things actually so I can make that well, I'll just link to the video. People can watch this. I'm going to put this stream up. I'll edit it a little bit and then I'll throw it up so people can look at the different ships and vote. And I think a week will be plenty of time for those who care to take a look at it and cast their vote. I like this starter pod. It'll be nice to see this one flying around as an NPC. I don't think this one is... I'm not going to disqualify it from the votes, but it did not follow the rules of being small grid, so I won't be voting for it. I don't foresee it being the winning one, so it's probably going to be an NPC. But there's nothing wrong with that. Are you getting spammed the sales pitch every 20 minutes or 15 minutes?
I saw it once.
It's like, now buying zone chips.
Yeah, I only see it once.
Oh.
In my whole history I've been on, so...
Oh, dang.
Obviously not spamming that much.
Well, every 15 minutes it sends stuff out, but it's interesting that you're not seeing it and I am. I wonder why that is.
I saw 1659 was the last time I saw it.
That was a long time ago. Huh. That's actually a different time from when I saw it.
Oh.
Wait, what? What time was that?
Pulling it up, I see 16:59:10.
16:59:10. What? That's a completely different time than when I'm seeing it. That's really weird.
That may be my local time, and I'm Eastern.
Oh.
So.
Oh, you know,
at
you're
least
right.
59:10?
Mine would be 15:59:11. That was 1 second later, so it's pretty much the same. Okay. That was a long time ago. Mine has spammed me 5 times since then. So
that's the only one I see.
weird. I wonder if it was because you were attached or something to the station and you only saw it because you were attached. It should broadcast to everyone who's within antenna range.
I do not have my suit antenna on.
Oh, there you go. That's why. Yeah, if your antenna's off, it won't work. I wish I could broadcast that with beacons so I could spam all of Earth from here. That was actually my plan. That was my evil plan, building a trade station over Earth. Didn't work out. Unfortunately, there had to be antennas. So now I'm going to have to build an antenna network that wraps around Earth.
Well, couldn't you just make your antennas broadcast very big?
Antennas only go up to 50 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
the beacons go up to
it.
200, so even with the 50 kilometers, it doesn't even reach Earth from here. So, it's a little sad. I don't think it quite reaches the moon either. I could be wrong about that. We're a little closer to the surface of the moon.
Quick question for you. Are you leaving this area? And if so, can I get a ride? Because
yes,
the straight line between this and my base goes through the atmosphere, and that was a fun trip over.
Oh, yeah, no.
I didn't realize it very early. You know, it took me a while to realize that I was not going straight.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
Thankfully,
leaving,
I
so
still
if
had
you want to
power
jump
to
in.
get out, but...
Some satellites you could use for that, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just something. Oh yeah, satellites to help. Yeah, you could do satellites.
Which is a good thing with a lot of solar panels in order to maintain the antenna distance that I want. But it would be kind of funny to do to relay my broadcast all over Earth.
Do the relays go through antenna networks?
I think they do. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna assume that they do. That's a dangerous assumption, but
It's easy to test.
yeah. Did I just? I think it's on the other side of this.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
it's towards Mars. That's why. There we go.
And it goes through the atmosphere, but if you're not
As long as
stopping there, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, as long as I come out on the other side, it should work. It says I'm jumping, but I don't have a graphic that I'm actually jumping. It just did a count.
I don't see anything either, and I had that issue as well.
It just did a countdown and then didn't jump.
Yes, what I had to do, because with my shuttle, when I did that, I had to do a blind jump. It has to do something with starting in the safe zone or something.
Oh, weird.
I had to do oh no, what it is there's actually something in the way, and I don't know what it is.
Huh.
I had to do a blind jump.
Yeah, I'm just gonna blind jump and then jump to where we're going.
Oh, I think it's because the bookmark is on the other side of the asteroid. You would have to fly through it, the asteroid, to get to it.
It's weird. I've had this happen a couple times. The thing is, I've jumped from here to your place so many times that it's weird that it's not working now.
Oh.
When I relog, when I'm having that problem, it seems to work. So it could just be something weird. See, like
I just figured it was, an error not telling you it can't because it's the asteroid that
It
itself on
still is
landing
not
is
letting
telling
me do it, which is obnoxious. So I'm going to just jump kind of to the other side and see if maybe that is the issue. Yeah, it's letting me blind jump, but it's not letting me jump to destination for some reason. This has happened to me 3 or 4 times since the update. And it only seems to happen on ships which have the new jump drives on them. I'm not sure if that makes a difference, but... Try one more time. Yeah, it's jumping now. Okay. Maybe it has to do with something being in the way. It's weird. Well, worked that time. Actually, I haven't been here in a while. Has much changed since last time I was here?
Maybe?
Maybe? I'm gonna take a look around.
Big ship.
Oh,
If
yeah,
you're
I
gonna
haven't
fly
seen...
closer, then I'll just stay docked.
Yep, I'm gonna fly closer. I was just letting things load. Because it
The
takes a
big
little bit.
ship is pretty heavy on the PCU. I apologize.
Am I going the right direction? It is this
Looks
asteroid,
like it.
right?
Yeah, it's on the other side of it. Which is why I think the asteroid is blocking from the GPS. I may need to make one that's like on this side or above it.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think that was the issue. It was being blocked, but it not through its algorithm to tell you it was being blocked. So it was trying to jump, but obviously you can't because of reasons. It just doesn't tell you why. It goes through the steps.
You have no antenna here. Always throws me off.
Sorry. The GPS should be at the entrance, though.
There we go. Should have gone around the other way. Here's the base. Your solar panel's gone.
Yeah, it was a wonderful accident.
Oh dear.
And then it started clanging out with just the oxygen tanks remaining, so I just removed them too.
Am I upside down? I feel like I'm upside down, but I don't think I am.
Don't think you are. Blue light should be at the bottom of the big hangar.
Yeah, for some reason I remember the hangar being on the other side of your door. Maybe I was upside down last time I was here. Like I remember the hangar being on the right side of your main gate. But I think I'm just incorrectly remembering this. I want to watch this. I love this thing. That's so cool. I've been really rubber bandy today on the server for some reason, whenever I'm flying around. I think it's just my internet. It's been a little bit screwy for the last couple days.
Speed's a little low too.
Oh yeah. Huh. Interesting. Quite the base you got going here. Look at this. Yeah, this is... I haven't seen the big ship yet. I like it. I like all the beams on the outside. Ooh, holy cow.
I created it a while ago and used it once, and that was about it. Yeah, that's the new part's adding. I wanted to add guns because it's going to be a floating base.
Yeah, that is very cool. The underslung cockpit. This looks like I've seen this ship before. I remember this bottom cockpit.
2 server generations or 3.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
But it's been updated interior wise.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a different paint job.
Well, it's a mix of paint jobs right now because I've been editing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
I haven't gone and started repainting things.
Lots of tanks for refueling things. Pretty nice. We got a welder set up here. I was just thinking for the Stratus, I need to set up my welders to turn themselves on when one of my when one of our faction small grids flies up to them. I hate having to get out and turn them on.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I was just thinking that should definitely have that feature, because then they're just off all the time, but when you fly up to them, you can immediately start using them. It doesn't work so well if you're going to print using them, but if you're just using them to fix things.
Yeah, but you can turn the sensors off when you're printing.
True, you could do that. Yeah, I like this kind of industrial mobile base look, for sure. And it's very similar to a ship I built that's a mobile base. Same kind of general shape, though mine had no interior. So it was a little bit smaller.
While you can't tell, I also squeezed in that Prototech jump drive that we stole and I just had sitting for a while.
Nice, yeah.
But since all the jump drives were just stacked in the fronts and the back, I got my welder ship, put a grinder on it, ground down the jump drives, and just replaced one of those and stacked it.
Nice.
You can't see it because it's totally in the interior, but
yeah,
it now has one of the Protect jump drives on it.
Nice. That will definitely help with mobility. Your safe zone block's almost built.
Yep, that's
it's in a
what
nice
I need
central location too. I actually no, I probably don't have zone chips on the other ship I brought. We have plenty though. Feel free to grab some from either of the stations. I'm gonna farm a bunch more this week, so yeah.
I figured I'd just farm them.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't have the resources to do it.
True, and you have the locations too, so probably just have to get them in game.
Yeah, but that's not hard since we have the GPSs.
Yep, copy and paste them, and you can copy and paste them as a group too, which is really cool. Like you can,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can select like a whole column, hit copy, and then go in game and create from clipboard, and it will create all of the separate locations, and you just click on all of them. Yeah, I didn't know that until I was making that spreadsheet as well. So it's another new thing I learned.
I think the only thing else new is inside the base. I added another large grid to small grid office section.
Oh, cool. Where's this?
Right here.
Oh, hey.
Inventory of stuff going on, and
I like it. Very cool.
They're not useful for anything. Haven't set up any of them, but
yeah, but you got all the new blocks in here now, which is cool.
Yeah, I figured this area I wanted displays so I can see what's going on, and I was like, well, what else would go here?
Yeah, underneath it. These are nice. Wait, what is this script? I like that it shows the icons really nicely.
Something inventory management? I'll find it on the workshop. And
yeah, that's pretty cool.
In the server. It's nice because it just looks nice. It looks like part of the game.
Yep. Yeah, it has all of the... It's very clean look, and then it uses the default icons or whatever. They're colored, but that's okay. Yeah, it doesn't look out of place. It uses the font, the normal game font. That's what makes it look like it fits. Yeah, these are all pretty nice. I gotta get some of these going on more of my builds. I gotta get Ben to play more. He's usually the guy that sets up the LCD things. He doesn't like building so much, but he does like setting up scripts, looking up scripts and setting up scripts. So, and that's something I just don't ever do. So it works out. Yeah, it'd be nice to see the big ship out and flying around eventually.
Technically, it's ready to go now.
Dang.
I mean, I do want to add more decorations, but it's functional, except for 3 custom gun turrets.
Dang it. I forget how, like, this door is so huge. I just see this giant ship parked inside, and it always seems like if I saw this ship outside, I would think it would not fit. For sure.
It actually got built out here, and then I backed it in.
Dang.
So it just fits. Don't ask me what I need to do if I want to get my warship out while it's still here.
Yeah.
I haven't figured that out yet.
It's, you blast your way out, I guess. I think you could tilt.
I think I could get it out, but it'd be a very slow process.
Parking it would be an interesting process, yeah. You had to clear out more up here, didn't you, to get this all to fit? It looks like it was
that was a
drilled
while
out.
ago though. But yes,
Yeah.
well, that's because my welder wall clanged out
Oh
and
yeah, put a
created this
huge
void
hole.
for me already.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like rebuilding a water wall, so
Uh,
I figured, oh, we'll just drill out more and we could park this up here and it's out of the way.
And now you've got the welder wall on the mobile base, so.
Yeah, and that's actually, once this is finished, it's really just going to go outside somewhere and just sort of stay outside. It may be around here or I may fly to Mars or who knows.
Wherever you're currently doing operations.
Correct.
Yeah, makes sense.
That was the plan.
Yeah, that'll be kind of cool. We don't have, Ben and I haven't built really I suppose like the Stratus is kind of a mobile base, but it's not really a base. It's more of a flagship style thing. Looks like it's stuck.
Yep, this may be what's causing the sim speed to be slow.
Oh.
I may have to redesign this.
I think the problem is... Oh no, that should be fine.
It used to fold, but I think just due to things, it's now just being weird.
It should rotate fine, right? Like, it doesn't look like anything should collide when it rotates.
Yeah, it actually used to fold, but I think the subgrid shenanigans going on.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's clanging out.
Yeah, this looks very dangerous, I'm not gonna lie. The
So
fact
I
that
may just remake this. I may pull that off and remake the water wall.
I think it's really cool, but yeah, just making it a fixed platform might be the safer thing. Like, if this wasn't tied down right now, I'd be worried about it spinning into a wall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's twisting in some direction.
It would probably be spinning if it wasn't locked in place. And that scares me. Yeah, you might want to make that stationary before you detach it. Before you detach the ship and let it fly around again. Yeah. A little bit terrifying. I'm gonna jump back to our base and I'm gonna grab some zone chips and a pile of uranium and bring them back here for you to use because we have excessive amounts of all of that. Trying to find more uses for it now.
I don't need uranium.
Yeah, but don't need uranium either.
I don't need it.
I'm just distributing our uranium reserves by giving some to you.
Okay.
Right. I'm not worried about you using it. We're not using it fast either, but yeah, we don't need 150,000 uranium ingots on our station. It makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I have 58,000.
Yeah, so you have quite a bit too. I'll probably drop some more at the trade station because that's also running a safe zone perpetually. The thing is, even at its current state, we have enough uranium there for it to last a month, so yeah. Once you start jumping around more often, you will eat the uranium a lot faster, especially with that big ship.
True.
So when we were flying the Stratus around a lot, we used like a couple thousand uranium a day just jumping the Stratus around. Just insane to think about, but it definitely was happening. That was the primary reason we decided to go ahead and get automated mining. A little bit of a jump from here.
See the jump animation through my hole, and it looks like something's blowing up because I don't see a ship. I just see the particle effects.
Yep. Gosh, now we have my area loaded and your area loaded. If the sim speed was ever going to drop, now is the time. It doesn't seem like the large grids really affect it that much. It's just when things are trying to move, the physics stuff. Which is really surprising to me. Oh, looks like we're... Yep, tactical bounce. was a little worried I clanged into another block there for a second. Bit. I'll restart the stream just to do it, so I don't have to download a really, really long stream in order to edit. And then I'm probably, I don't know, I want to go do some exploring. Maybe go head out to an unidentified signal or something. I think I'm probably going to just start scrapping blocks instead of trying to rescue them. Just taking the parts, and then when I want to build things, I'll just use the scrap to make the pieces. It's inefficient, but it's a lot easier to do than retrieving blocks.